Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to episode 12 of the Hillians Talk podcast. Once again, coming to you live from Lynden's living room. So, thank you very much for inviting us into your home. And I say us because it's not just me and Lynden today. We are joined by a special guest, a guest that some of you might not actually be aware of, but he's here to introduce himself and spread his wisdom of non-league to you. It's Burgess Hill's first team analyst, Matt Hayward. Matt.
Hello, how are you? You all right?
I'm very well. How are you, more importantly?
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you.
Good.
Very good.
Thanks for
yeah,
coming
all
on.
Good. No, looking forward to it.
Well, to be honest, it was Lyndon's idea that you sort of recommended that you were quite keen to come on, and obviously,
I say it was
delve
actually
into-
more Matt's idea. He was like, "Can I come on the podcast?"
Well, there you go, excellent. Because from people have probably seen you in and around the club. You've been here since the start of this season. Is
So,
that
yeah, since the start of pre-season, I've been here.
excellent? So, but they probably don't know perhaps what your role might be, or what you're bringing to the team, or where you even fit into the sort of first team setup. So I suppose a good starting point from my point of view would just be to sort of briefly introduce yourself, introduce how you come to be at Burgess Hill, and sort of what your sort of role is at the football club.
Yeah, so I came in the summer as Analyst, which is something that I've sort of done before previously at one of my previous clubs, Lynden, last year. I know Jay from when we were at Eastbourne Borough together a few years ago.
Everyone knows Jay.
Yeah,
Like,
Jay
oracle of
literally.
non-league.
Social
Honestly, there's-
butterfly.
There is not a game that we can go to where Jay doesn't know someone. It's crazy. Even when I was at Eastbourne Borough and we were going to all parts of the country, he still knew someone there. It was crazy. But yeah, so Jay sort of got in contact with me, knew what I wanted to do in football. My previous roles in football have been as a kit man, so slightly different to obviously the analysis work. And he knew where I sort of wanted to go. And it was mainly Gaz that did a lot of the analysis last year. So with all his stuff that he's doing around the club, as well as managing the team, and the analysis sort of needed a little bit of extra care by someone, and Jay brought me in to a meeting with him and Gaz in a nice coffee shop in Southwick, and it went from there.
Lovely. So Lancing, Eastbourne Borough. Any other sort of names you reel off?
So I started. Well, if you want to go right back, I started when I was 17, playing for Torquay United Youth Academy.
Wow.
Spent a year there. Had the option to stay, but had moved down to Devon all on my own, so I had no family or friends down there. So I sort of wanted to come back closer to home. So I ended up joining Eastbourne Borough, as they'd just been promoted to the sort of as it was back then, the Blue Square Premier.
Right. Yeah.
Going back a bit now.
With the hope that I could get some game time there. It never materialised. I ended up going on loan to Stenning for a month.
Great club.
Enjoyed
never
it,
heard
to
of
be
them.
fair. It was back when it was a grass pitch as well. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember one of the games
I remember
was
it well.
I just came off caked in mud, wondering how that game had even gone ahead, let alone got through 90 minutes. And then joined Weymouth when they went through a few financial difficulties, which probably is another story for another day. But didn't go well, got injured, completely tore my groin off the bone.
Ooh.
So I was out for a long period of time. Had sort of moved to Weymouth and was literally there a week. So moved back home, was like, right, I'm not staying in Weymouth on my own whilst injured. Came back home, back to Brighton, and then sort of got myself back fit and moved back down to Devon and played sort of semi-professionally down there. Played my first game, did the same injury again. So sort
Wow.
of had to knock football on the head. I had a little break from football completely, ended up going to work at Brighton in the club shop, and then went from there to doing the kit for the women's team, then the men's team, and then I've also been at Crawley Town doing the kit and Eastbourne Borough, and then started at Lancing last year doing the analysis as my friend went in there as manager and wanted me there with him. So yeah,
There you
You've
go.
been all over the shop. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's quite a glittering resume
been-
of clubs.
I've been about a bit, but if you look at sort of where I started, so like Torquay were in the sort of what is the National League now.
How come? Sorry, rewind even a bit. But how come it was Torquay? Were you living there? Is that where you originally from, or?
No, so I used to go down there a lot for holidays as a kid.
Ah,
It
okay.
was sort of our yearly holiday. So in going down there, sort of me and my dad sort of picked up an affinity for Torquay as a club. Sort of, so it became our second club really that we supported. And then from a few people that I knew through football, I was trying to sort of get into an academy somewhere, and someone said that there was something available at Torquay. So I went to Torquay, and yeah, just ended up signing down there for a year.
Oh. It suddenly occurred to me that I didn't really sort of know where you were born and raised. So I thought maybe that was the connection.
Born and raised in Brighton, to be fair, and
One of us.
Yeah, just ended up going down to Torquay, and to be fair, I loved it down there. I love living down there. It's a brilliant place. So yeah, I really enjoyed it.
It's not quite stunning though, really, if we're being honest.
I feel like you might be a bit biased here.
Well, maybe, but yeah, I probably am slightly biased. Yeah,
but no, I mean, that's fantastic. Like, I mean, and also just sort of touching on, I'm conscious that some of the listeners may not sort of understand what the role of an analyst is at a football club. So talk us through what is your match day like? What does it look like for you on a Saturday 3:00? What's the dealio?
On a match day, it's kind of everything that's needed to be done is already done for that game. So a lot of the stuff would be making sure that all the information that we have given the players, we send them out match packs with all the information on it for the opposition that we're going to play, which is what I do in the sort of the lead up in the week up to it. So that's all on the wall there for them to all look at and for them to see. So make sure that's done. Setting up the camera to make sure we can film the game and obviously look back at it for ourselves. And yeah, so the match days are sort of an easier day for me, really.
So maybe I've asked that probably the wrong way around. Then rewinding this. So what does it look like in the week leading up to Saturday? Like what's because I imagine that's where more of the analysis is done. I guess. Obviously I'm talking like I don't really know. I've seen you at the club sort of poring over videos of opposition. Like I've seen you today looking at hashtag videos. So yeah, what does it look like leading up to the?
Yeah. So for me, I try to be as ahead as I can. And obviously, it depends on opposition's fixtures as well. So we use a platform called Y Scout, which basically can show you any game in the world, really, from sort of literally, and I mean anywhere. You look at the screen and it's like different flags everywhere. But obviously for us, we specifically look at the Isthmian Prem.
Not preparing for that away day at Boca Juniors then.
So no, not just yet. Maybe a few years time when we make Europe.
Europe, they're Brazil, mate.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's gonna be a nice blooper for it now, isn't
Club
it?
World Cup.
Yeah, can we edit that bit out?
No, nothing gets edited. As I said to Gary, nothing gets edited.
But yeah, so I try and be as ahead as I can on it. So like today, you saw me looking at hashtag, and we've done all the work that we needed to do on Broadbridge Heath tomorrow. So that's all done. That's all ready to go. So now it's like looking at hashtag. So I've spent the majority of today, as you've seen, doing hashtag. I'll probably finish that off tomorrow morning, and then tomorrow afternoon before our game, I'll start looking at Carshalton, which should be quite easy considering we only played them a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say a bit of a revenge mission there. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I've got some tips on Carshalton. Stop the bloody cross.
I was gonna say, yeah, I think we've all got a few comments on Carshalton.
Sorry guys, I am over it. I promise. Just
Yeah, but we don't talk about. Who was it? I think it was David who said we don't talk about Carshalton. So we don't talk about Carshalton.
Yeah, let's not. That's not great. Not great.
Great. Play them in 7 days' time. Again.
So how did you? How did you get into the analysis role? Because it sounds like obviously, so you started the analysis stuff at Lancing before.
So yeah, I started it sort of.
But you've got quite like diverse from like, obviously like football runs deep and it's always been footballing connections. But I guess from sort of player to kit man to analysis, like I guess I'm kind of struggling to see the path a little bit. Like what steered you towards analysis?
It's a little bit different. So when I was I'd say when I was at Crawley, I sort of got on with
another club name
with our analyst there, Jack, who's now at Swansea now. Really good lad. Really honestly, the most hardworking person I've probably ever met in football.
Well, until you met me and Jack, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
This Jack, you meant.
And yeah. And he sort of showed me little bits here and there about what he did, because I never really knew, to be honest with you, that side of the game. And he showed me a lot, and it sort of intrigued me a little bit. And I was like, okay, maybe that's something to look at. You know, I mean, a lot of analysts these days have gone to university for 3 years, got a sports science degree. I've got none of that. So it's going at a different route to what the majority go with. So, and then when I went to Eastbourne Borough, we didn't really have an analyst then. So it was kind of, it was all sort of off the cuff kind of thing. Not in a negative way, but it was done differently. There wasn't like specific meetings that we had. There wasn't clips that went over. Obviously, the football staff looked at the footage and looked at things deeply, but not in a sort of a way an analyst would. So it was slightly different there. And then when Mark Beard left, we got a manager in called Adam Murray, and he brought his own analyst in who, football-wise, was really knowledgeable. Outside of football, was absolutely batshit crazy. And one of the best people I've ever met in my life. I love him to bits.
Again, until you met me and Jack.
Yeah, again, yeah. So his nickname was Biscuit. There's a long explanation as to why. Well, his name's Ori. And I think
Oreo.
it was Oreo, and then everyone went, "Oh, Biscuit." So no one actually. There was a lot of people that worked at Eastbourne Borough that genuinely did not know his real name. And then when they found out his real name, you'd look at him and you'd like, "You're not an Ori." But again, he sort of like showed me a lot of stuff, and I learned a lot off of him, and and he was someone that I got really close to as well, not just in football but outside of football. So it was kind of like, okay, maybe this is something I'd like to sort of do. I took some courses online with the PFSA, sort of did stuff off my own back. I sort of did stuff for opposition that we were playing against at Eastbourne that was never ever going to get used, but I'd always go to Biscuit, "What's that like? Is that good?" And he was always showing me where I can and improve things. So, and then when I left Eastbourne, I sort of said, right, I don't want to go back and do kit anywhere else. I was sort of hit that wall, so to speak, was like, I'm not doing that anymore. I can't be doing kit anymore. It was soul destroying sometimes. And and then I sort of got the opportunity to go to Lancing with Billy Wood. And whilst on paper it might have looked a bit of a disaster end to the season, from our point of view, we worked very professionally in the way that we all did things. And then it sort of like the bug sort of hit me a little bit, like, imagine what I could do at a bigger and better club. And then Burgess Hill came about.
The biggest and best club.
Yes,
correct.
Do you know what? Genuinely, and I'm not just saying this, I absolutely love it here.
Yeah, and I can confirm he said that off microphone earlier as well.
Yeah,
so.
Honestly, it's been the best few months. Like the people at the club, the players, the staff, just everyone.
The
media guys are fantastic
Podcast
as well.
hosts. So I don't know why I'm so arrogant today.
I'm loving it though. It's great.
Sorry, I do apologise.
But it's really just, honestly, it's ignited my love for football again. Which before this had sort of dwindled a little bit in a way. But yeah, I'm absolutely loving life right now.
Oh, that's good to hear. I mean, I'm not going to drone on about it because we've said it before, but there's such big change at this club this year, especially with what David and Vicky have done since coming in. I think it's such a fantastic time to be part of the club. I think I can probably safely speak for everyone. We're glad to have you, and thanks for coming on to this and chatting crap with us. But
I love it.
I've got so many questions about your background that we could do like a 2-part on this.
Yeah, I suppose one for me, not necessarily on your background, but one sort of more current day. So is it also like post-match stuff you do as well? Like if there's things that, do you then review the sort of 90 minutes and go, like, where do we go wrong sort of thing, or where do we go right? Is that also...
Yeah, so obviously that's where us filming the game comes into play.
Yeah.
So once we've filmed the game's gone, we'll upload it onto Huddle, which again is another platform that we use, and then we tag the game. So we sort of tag every pass, every bit of action that happens is tagged. That can sometimes take just about an hour and a half, the length of a game sometimes.
I'm surprised it's that quick, to be honest, because I mean, I'm lucky enough to have access to that Huddle account through some of the media stuff, and I've seen the tags that you guys put on games, and like the amount of work that must go into that, like reviewing every game, tagging like you said, every pass. Like I've seen tags on there for goalkeeper distribution, crosses, shots, goals, corners, throw-ins, like defensive repositioning, I don't know why the footballing terms escape me, but like winning the ball back, and I've seen tags for everything. Like things I wouldn't even think of.
When I first started tagging the games, it was during pre-season, and bearing in mind that it was the first time I was using that for myself. Yeah. So for me, it was a bit of a learning curve, and it was nice to have a lot of pre-season games where I could actually play around with it a little bit. So over pre-season, I just focused on us, like obviously when we were playing against an opposition, I'd sort of put in their shots on goal, their crosses, their set pieces kind of thing, so we could look at that a little bit more deeply. But sort of first game of the season, I was like, no, I'm gonna go for it and sort of tag everything. So we tag the opposition stuff, we tag our stuff, and then we can sort of at the end of the game, once it's all tagged, we can then sort of look back at things, and we can find things a little bit easier than scrolling through and what minute it is. So it's a really good tool to use. But it did take me over 3 hours to tag the Dartford game.
That
that was
surprise
a
me.
very, very long afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, unless you have a follow up, Jack, I was gonna say we could piggyback quite nicely off the back of that. To say,
Yeah.
from an analyst point of view, then I mean that's a nice little segue into the Dartford game. Like, what did you think of that game? Obviously, shot guys away game. I wasn't there, but so yeah, I know. But what did you think? Like, what I mean, there's quite a lot to unpick from that
It's
game.
just be really interesting because obviously it's different from just a pure fan's perspective.
Yeah.
This is also obviously fan, but more slightly more analytical and slightly more different point of view.
Yeah, I mean, we knew going into the game that Dartford weren't going to be an easy team to play against, despite sort of where they were in the league. I mean, they lost the playoff final last year. They were in the National League South a few years ago. They're a good side. So from our point of view, and we even said this, they're in a false position.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
We're not to take this game for granted as if we should win this game. And also as well, it's two very different styles of football. We get the ball on the ground, and they're very much we'll get the ball forward and then play off of the knockdowns in the final third. So the first sort of 20 minutes, 25 minutes was quite disappointing. We got back into the game a little bit, and we started to sort of threaten. We obviously had the disallowed goal in the first half as well, but the turning point was obviously the penalty just before half time.
Yep.
Really, because had that gone in, that would have
Okay.
probably have
Game
killed
over.
us,
Yeah,
and
it's game over.
it would be very difficult to get back into it. And first and foremost, it was never a penalty.
No.
Never ever a penalty.
No, I've seen it back.
Don't.
And
I mean-
I've seen things go on in the middle of the park this season, not just from the Dartford game, that referees have missed. That you then compare that to that penalty that they got, and you just think, wow, like how did that ever get given? And I mean, a lot of credit obviously has to go to Alf for saving it. I do a lot of work with the keepers, so me and Bubsy will look at opposition penalties and look where they've gone, and we'll produce something for Alf to look at. So we produce videos for him. We produce sort of something for him to look at, so we can say, well, that's where he goes.
Yeah.
And Alf said he was waiting for me to tell him what way to go. He was sort of like playing with a water bottle, trying to waste time just for me to find it on our sheet of paper, because I couldn't see who the taker was through the bodies.
Yeah.
So we had the sheet of paper in front of us, and then pointed to him what way to go, and he went that way and had a double save, because he did get a touch on the rebound as well.
There you go.
So
Another
nothing
thing
to do with Alfie, all down to you guys. Yeah.
No. Listen.
Put it first.
Alf's still got to make that save, and he's still got to, it's not just as simple as going, oh, we know where he's going, he'll save it, because you just don't know how they how they will hit the
I mean,
penalty.
it's still, even knowing that information, I guess it's still a 50-50. He either goes that way or he doesn't. Like,
Yeah, exactly. And again, from a keeper's point of view, like, for instance, so we played Potter's Bar on Saturday and won on penalties, and
we did.
he saved one. Now, the information that we had on Potter's Bar was they had two penalty takers. One of them took their penalty, and Alf went the right way, but didn't save it. And the other one, he didn't take it. He wasn't one of the five, and yet he was still on the pitch.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
So the one that Alfie saved was off of what Alfie was perceiving in front of him.
Yeah.
So, and again, when Alf came in, I sort of said to him, what sort of stuff do you want to have analysis? Because he's obviously been at Brighton. So he's been at a club that probably look at things a lot deeper than what we would. So knowing what he would want in terms of analysis to learn off of the opposition, and he said with penalties, get me what you can, but if we don't have anything on that player, I'll just go off of their body language. and then obviously he's done that and made the save. So
It's already a much more professional answer than I would have given, which was like if we didn't have anything, I'd just guess.
yeah, but again,
I mean, there is an element to that, I guess.
again,
but
yeah, he's still got to guess the right way, and you know, it's a lot of people think. You know, back in the day, I think goalkeepers, it was a case of I'm just going to dive one way and hope for the best. And I think now goalkeepers do look at it a little bit more differently and do look at sort of body positioning of players.
I mean, you only have to look as far as like Jordan Pickford, like that water bottle that has become almost famous now in like penalty shootouts with all the little goal graphics and like of penalty takers for every team he's playing against. That I mean, their analysts must have just an analyst just on penalties because he has that every game.
I mean, a Premier League club will have analysts upon analysts. They'll have analysts and interns for each of them analysts as well. So it's crazy what they go through. But yeah, do
you need an intern? Should we
so
get you an intern?
no. I can manage at the moment. Wait. we'll see what it's like in a couple of years' time. But yeah, it's so so obviously going back to the Dartford game, we've sort of like gone a different way there.
Yeah, we do that a lot.
But you know, at half time we just said, look, the game is still here for us. You know, we can still get something from the game, and it was not necessarily about how we play, but the heart and the desire. Can we get that heart and desire onto the pitch? Because this lot will fold if you score. They've conceded a lot of goals this year, so there's every chance that they're gonna sort of like buckle under the pressure a little bit. And obviously, then Kuss has come on at half time and scored within like a minute, and that's completely changed the game then. And then obviously, you know, Spinksy getting sent off for a second yellow again. It's like the penalty, the softest foul.
It's never a foul
for a second. Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's if you look at it, take away the fact that he'd had a yellow card, which by the way was only for talking to the referee at half time. And I was in the vicinity of that conversation, and he wasn't abusive. He wasn't shouting and screaming at the ref in a bad way. He just said that it was an embarrassing decision. And the referee's got his yellow card out. And I think the ref was bad for both teams that night. I think it's fair to say. I think even their managers come out and said he was bad.
Oh yeah.
But as soon as a player's booked, if he makes any slight foul, the opposition are going to be wise to it and going to be straight in the referee's ear. And I think that's what happened. The referee realised he'd been booked. It was a foul. We're going to second yellow card him. I mean, you look at their red card as well. You know, he got booked for wasting time with the ball, like juggling the ball about in the air, and then he got booked for handballing it whilst on the floor. Like, okay, it wasn't a foul anyway on him. I'll say he's gone down soft, but he's obviously thought, I deserve a free kick, and put his hand on the ball, and then got a second yellow. You look at.
I mean, I actually rate that for his decision from the ref because you see players do that all the time. They're convinced they've been fouled, so they just fall and grab the ball. Yeah. I rate a ref who then goes, "That wasn't a foul, so I'm going to book you for handball."
Yeah,
now.
I mean, it takes a brave ref to do that, but also as well, you look at the whole game. It wasn't a bad tempered game. Yet there was all these yellow cards and 2 red cards, and you think, well, hang on a minute, like, where's that suddenly come from? Like, it looks worse than what it was.
Is that something you look at, like in terms of like sort of pre-game analysis, like get like away team's temperament or like yellow disciplinary record or yellow cards, red cards? I mean,
no, not particularly. I mean, obviously, looking at footage of teams, you sort of get an idea of what they're going to be like and how they're going to be. And obviously, there's sometimes when a team has got a specific player who you know is a little bit of a
character.
Yeah, character. Let's say.
Ben Pope.
You know, so and you know what you're sort of dealing with. You know, we're going to start looking now at, you know, referees and sort of look at in terms of what they're like as well now. So we'll find out who we've got as ref on a Saturday, and we'll sort of not look at him on videos, but we'll look over his last 3 or 4 games and look at sort of how often he gets the cards out and sort of thing. So we're adding more stuff as the season's going on, stuff to look at.
I mean, it's interesting that analysis on the officials. I mean, it makes complete sense, absolutely, but I think that's quite a level of detail that I don't think I would have thought of, to be honest.
But you look, that's something that Nottingham Forest tried when they hired Mark Clattenburg. It was to sort of look at things from a referee's point of view and where they could be different in that way. Obviously, that didn't work out there, but it's something that, even knowing that a referee is going to book you straight away for saying something to him, or is going to give you the benefit of the doubt, sort of knowing that if the players know that information, it's then up to them sort of if they take it on board. They might not take it on board because at the time when you're playing, you don't think about, oh, hang on a minute, this ref might book me. So it's just knowing that information can help, and anything that we can sort of give us that extra percentage, really.
Covering all bases, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite a analytical statistic person anyway. I like that kind of stuff. So the whole world of it is fascinating. And I must admit, like I said, I've nosed round Huddle in my privilege to have access to it, and sort of looked at some of the stuff that's in there. And I think the level of prep that you guys go for, I've seen some of the match packs you guys put together. They're impressive. They're like for the level of. I mean, I could be wrong. Like, I'm not greatly versed in other clubs at this level. They could be doing similar things, but I think what we provide the players, both before and on a match day, I think is brilliant. Like, we give them the best opportunity on and off the field to do well.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a really good group of staff here, and it's not just me that looks at it. I look at the core of it, but Gaz looks at a lot of the stuff, and Jay looks at set pieces. Lewis works with the throw-ins, trying to see how we can gain an advantage on the throw-ins, and obviously, Bubsy looks at all the goalkeeping stuff. So we've got a group of us that all look at everything. It's not just me doing it all. It is.
That's not what you said off camera. I'm joking.
But it's a big group of us, and I'll include Chloe's name in it as well. Like, she doesn't do any of the analysis stuff, but she works really hard with the medical side of things as well.
That she does.
And we've got Sam in at the moment while she's on holiday in Dubai.
How dare she have time off?
Oh, to be fair,
swanning away in Dubai.
I don't blame her. If I had a choice to go to Dubai, I think I'd probably take it as well. So
that's fair. But no, I met Sam the other day. Seems like a good guy.
Yeah, he's good. He's a good guy. I've known him for a long time. I worked with him at Eastbourne Borough as well, and he's a good lad. Yeah, he'll be buzzing now. I've name dropped him as well. He'll be absolutely buzzing with that.
We love you, Sam.
Shout out, Sam. I mean, it's something that sprung to mind, which you're probably not aware of, but just when you're mentioning about like the pre-match like pack that you give the players about the team, and do you do like specific players as well, like a little like line about individuals, or is it not that?
No, so you do.
There is a reason I bring it up.
You do get that in the EFL. A lot of like detail does sometimes go into the opposition players. We'll obviously look at who we think is going to be a threat from set pieces, and then also as well, if say for instance, a team has got someone who's really fast, or a team that have got someone that's really strong aerially, we'll look at things like that. We won't necessarily go into a deep dive into the squad and post all that in the match pack, because I imagine the players would get very bored of reading that very quickly.
The reason I say that is because something was leaked online on like football Twitter, like I don't know, towards the start of the season, and it was Beckenham like doing like a pre-match sort of summary on Whiteleaf, I assume, when they played each other, and one of the Whiteleaf players like screenshotted it and posted it online, and it was literally like they'd every single player that was in the Whiteleaf squad, but then they'd do like, oh, this guy 10 years past it, can't run, only uses his right foot, just getting behind him. Like, it was just like personal attacks. He's like useless, can't move, just turn him.
I mean,
useless, can't move. That sounds like a pack on me.
And then Whiteleaf won like 5-0 and tagged all the Beckett. It was so funny.
I mean,
it was just all like
that does sound very non-league, doesn't it?
I
mean, we with the analysis, we try and be as subjective as possible, even against the opposition.
In case it gets leaked.
We won't sort of say, oh yeah, he's absolute dog shit, like he can't run, it looks like he's running through toffee or something like that. We'll try and be like
slightly more professional.
We'll try and put something like lacks pace or something like that.
Such a diplomatic answer.
And
struggles to handle the ball,
but
can't catch a goal.
Unless it's something really, really noticeable.
Never play the high line.
It's something that we don't sort of go into specifics of. It's not in a way that we look at the whole squad as a whole, but we'll look at sort of, so as a whole, we look at the last 3 games in terms of what their sort of lineup looks like, formation, to a point where we even look at what subs they've made and in what minute they've made the subs, because, you know, you think that, okay, well, if we know that they're going to make changes around that time, does that affect their shape? Does that affect their formation? And, you know, we've identified it a few times this season with some teams where they make changes, but it does affect their shape, and they change their shape at the same time, regardless of how the game is going. They'll change their shape. So we've identified that this season, and we've sort of then got stuff in place to sort of make changes as and when we need to as well.
This is just like fascinating to me, because I'm an absolute like stats guy in football. Like, I'm not necessarily like analytical in terms of like reviewing games and stuff, but just in terms of stats, in terms of the sort of in-depth, like really detailed like stuff that goes into it. This is literally like a dream conversation for me. This is incredible. Like even I do like my own. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but even I do like my own like personal ref report about every ref that we've had this season. So then when we play them again, or he refs us again, I can have a look at the previous game like earlier in the season. Oh, is that game? Oh, what did he do? What happened?
Might need to send some of these to Matt.
It's,
Yeah, I was going to say that sounds alright. To be fair, like I see, I'm very the same.
So that intern you needed, Jack.
Yeah, so
I'm literally just begging here, please. By the way,
I mean, I do like looking into things into depth, and I think if you ask any of the guys, especially at the start of the season when we had away games and we were on coaches, you know, I was on my MacBook looking at stats, and I was
not taking part in Ryan Worrell's quizzes.
We haven't had one of them yet.
Get on it, Ryan.
I've been very disappointed. I've heard all about them, and we've not had it yet. So I'm hoping that we get a nice, you know, long away day that he can give us one of them. But yeah, so I was just reading off all these stats about how they've had this amount of touches in the penalty box, and they've created this many opportunities from throw-ins, and I think it got to a point where Jay was like, "Wow, just shut up now. Like, we've had enough now. Just stop."
I love that though. Half the coach was asleep at that point.
Yeah, I think they were, to be fair.
Oh no, that's. I mean, like I said, I think it's fascinating, and I think like the referees is certainly interesting. I'd be curious to have you back on to sort of once that is a bit more, because you obviously said you'll start looking at referees. Like,
Yeah.
Be interesting to pick that back up to see like what are some of the notes on referee as a keen referee yourself, as I saw on Sunday.
Yeah,
was it 3 pathway games you ref?
3 pathway games, yeah, and then I also
with an electronic whistle.
Then I also
absolute muggle.
Do you know what though? But when you're as unfit as I am, it's very difficult to run and blow a whistle at the same time, and then have to explain why you've made a decision. Like the players can't really understand you when you're heavily breathing.
Fair. Well, I thought you did a good job, mate. Apart from that Stonewall penalty you missed. But.
Yeah. Oh well, you know, it's foul on the keeper.
Well, I mean,
I suppose from Dartford leads on to the
Broadbridge Heath tomorrow.
Or the game on Saturday. We just
no, we haven't done Potter's Bar yet, have we?
Potter's Bar. Yeah.
Oh yeah, which I was there for.
You were there, so yeah. There you go. You can lead this one.
Okay, well, I'm gonna cop out massively here because
brilliant.
I was filming. I was saying this to someone the other day that when I'm taking photos, it's a lot easier to actually pay attention to the game because there's bits where I'm not taking photos. I'm not constantly glued to the camera, so I can actually watch and absorb the game. So I feel like I can participate more in conversations about those games. But for Potter's Bar, I was on highlights, and so you're constantly doing something. So even though you would like to think watching the game because I'm filming it all, I'm more concentrating on is the ball in frame? Am I zoomed in enough?
Moving the camera.
Moving the camera. So it's like, actually, even though I was there for the entire 90 minutes and penalties, I actually feel like I didn't really watch the game, so I couldn't break it down. So as a massive cop-out, as we've got you here, from an analyst's point of view, Matt, please break down the Potter's Bar victory. How do you think we played? Like, I mean, so for those who don't know, didn't attend or have been living under a rock, we drew 1-1. And then we won 4-3 on penalties. It went straight to penalties because it was a cup game. Help me out. Which cup was it? FA
Trophy.
Yep. So yeah, we won. Happy days. So yeah, how did you think we played first of all in the 90 minutes?
It was a tough game. It's going to sound like a real cliche here, but the conditions were really tough.
It was very
horrendous.
Windy. Yeah.
But it's sort of
Storm Amy.
In a way. So obviously they changed us over, so they had the wind with them in the first half. But it didn't it made no bearing on the game really from that point of view. They might have had the wind with them, but it was one of them where it didn't seem to favour the team who had the wind. So, but Potter's Bar play a long ball game. I think we saw that when we played them in the first game of the season. They're very much, they'll get the ball forward. That's what they want to do. They'll get the ball forward. They don't really play it out from the back. We obviously, looking through clips of them, we look for, how do they play out? And every single clip of the keeper's goal kicks was boom, boom,
Route 1,
boom. And we just...
To be fair, their big striker who scored the header, I thought he was the best player on the pitch.
Yeah,
on
I thought he was
Saturday, to be fair.
Yeah,
So,
again...
I mean, it works if you've got an half decent, big number 9 who can hold it up a bit. To be fair.
And I think as well, it wasn't the best of games for us. The way we play, the conditions
don't suit us.
Not necessarily don't suit us, but shouldn't really have that much of a bearing on the game. And I think the game was just a scrappy game, really. And I think had we taken the lead and held on to it, I think we'd have gone on and won 1-0 again comfortably, or gone on and got a second goal.
The second half was like editing the highlights for the second half was a dream because there wasn't really any highlights.
This is what I was sort of saying.
A lot of balls into the box that nothing happened.
Yeah, like after the game, my immediate reaction was, wow, Potter's Bar were the sort of better team. But then I reflected on it, and it was like, they didn't really have any chances, though. They didn't really, Alfie wasn't, from making saves here, there and everywhere. And they had more, ball in terms of probably territory and, in our half, and they were, putting crosses in and perhaps shots from distance that were flying miles out of the ground. But, they weren't. I can't remember Alfie making many saves.
He made that double save in the first half.
It was near post, and then Spinks got off the line.
Yeah. And then that was about it. Everything else was comfortable at him. Few crosses he claimed, and then everything shots were just sort of high and wide or both.
Yeah. I think if you speak to a lot of the lads, they'll say, look, it wasn't our best game, but I think if you take any positives out of it, we didn't lose.
Nope.
We did win on penalties, and it's a case of, right, okay, that game's sort of over. We'll analyse it. We'll look at certain bits that we could have done better, and then we do just then move on to the next game. And it's you don't want to dwell on it too much, kind of thing.
What was it like being in? I assume I could be wrong here, but I assume you're in the dressing room at half time, so you're privy to the half time talks and probably involved in them to an extent as well. I mean, what was it like? And if you can't sort of talk about it, then fair enough. But I imagine must have been a slight element of annoyance from Gary and Jay about conceding as quickly as we did because it was literally 90 seconds, if that.
Not even that. I don't
think. Yeah,
60. I don't think
it frustrated everyone in the dressing room, not just Gaz and Jay. Everyone was frustrated by it, and it's obviously not something you really want to be doing after scoring. But
why do you think? Did we just switch off? Was it a bit complacency, or
again,
did they just come out with a bit more intensity?
I don't even think it was they came out with intensity. It's just they just got the ball forward, and
they're
very good on the knockdowns, and they put a ball into the box, and the player was just sort of free and headed it in. It was good header. It's just a frustrating one to concede straight away, but we sort of just said it at half time. We just got to get the ball down and play our game. And put them under pressure and put them on the back foot, really. And, it didn't really pan out that way, and the conditions didn't really help. But, as soon as it did go to penalties, I was very confident that we would win on penalties, purely for the fact that Alfred obviously just come off the back of a penalty save anyway, but also just his ability in general. You'd like to think that he would be a strong contender to save 1 or 2 penalties at least in there. So it was one of them where we just now, okay, we've got a game tomorrow night against Broadbridge Heath, and then we sort of back into league action with hashtag. So it's
it's a couple of things I want to pick up from, just because I don't think we've actually touched on them enough. One of them which definitely deserves touching on is Ben Pope's goal. First goal of the campaign.
Yeah.
What a strike.
Unbelievable finish.
It was one of those ones that for me, certainly, it seemed to almost happen in slow motion. Like from the moment he left his foot,
exactly,
you're like, it's in. It's always in. The keeper was absolutely rooted.
Yeah,
the keeper knew from the moment he left his foot.
It's
such a good goal.
So from the angle where I was in the dugout,
I was saying, hang on, I'm right behind you.
As soon as it came to him, I was like, if he hits this is going in, and then he did, and great finish. I mean, Ben's an unbelievable player, and he's good, he's a good finisher. But I look at the last few games that he's played, and the amount of headers he wins in the middle of the park.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
Against Dartford,
yeah.
honestly, he must have had a headache after that game because he was phenomenal. He was winning everything, but his work rate and everything, like, he doesn't get as much credit as he deserves.
The fans notice him so much. So, like, it's frustrating because Ben Pope traditionally he's like a sort of typical number 9 striker.
Yeah.
His job's live in the 6-yard box and put the goals away. But that's not particularly his role with us. He plays a lot deeper for us than he perhaps traditionally has done throughout his career.
Yeah.
So he hasn't. If people just don't watch the games and see the stats, and you see it was his first goal at the weekend. But like you say, he's an absolute workhorse. Like, he just doesn't stop for the team for the 90 minutes. Whether that's in midfield, winning headers, closing everyone down, like, just his overall work rate. The fans absolutely love him because of this.
Oh yeah, we absolutely love him.
Yeah.
Like, he's phenomenal in the dressing room. He's a character.
He's
Great lad as well.
He's such a good guy.
Great lad.
He's a great guy.
I've chatted to him a few times, and every time has been such a pleasant,
And
funny
he
conversation.
works his nuts off. He's also
crackers.
a good player with the ball as well, and he's just he's a sort of player that every team wants, and we're lucky to have him.
Yeah, but no one else can have him.
No,
He's
definitely
out.
not. We want to keep him.
He's absolutely loved by the fans.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the other player I wanted to touch on as well is Chris Ray not Chris Ray. Yeah, Glenn Ray. Sorry, why did I say Chris Ray? Glenn Ray on debut. I thought he had a good game. I thought his penalty was quality.
Oh, this penalty was brilliant.
Penalty was unreal.
The most nonchalant, laced top corner penalty I've ever seen.
So I've known Glenn for a long time. I've known him since he was back at Brighton with the academy.
Yeah.
So I've known him for a really long time, and it's funny. I actually went to go and watch the Eastbourne Borough Worthing game last season in the league, and I sort of jokingly said to him, I don't remember seeing you score, and he went and scored in that game. And then on Saturday, I was like, I've never seen you take a penalty, but bloody hell, you can take a penalty.
Okay, so tomorrow, can you say to him you've never seen him score a hat-trick?
So, well, I'll try, but miracles don't happen like that. But no, Glenn, to be fair, Glenn is a phenomenal player. The fact that we've got him is testament to where we want to go as a club as well.
One of the biggest signings we've made in a long time.
Literally.
And I thought he looked really good from what I saw from stuck behind the camera, but really happy with his performance. I'm really looking forward to seeing more of him.
I'll tell you what, I think he had a good game. I'm not going to dispute that. I think for his standards he could be better, but I also think that comes with match fitness as well. He's not 100% match fit yet. It won't take him long. He's a very fit player anyway, so it won't take him long.
Well, testament to the fact that if you're saying he's not 100% match fit, he played 90 minutes and the penalty shootout.
Yeah, but
So,
like I say, I've
Right.
known him for so long. He's a warrior. Like, he is someone who will stick his head through a brick wall. He will win tackles. He'll pick up plenty of bookings. In actual fact, I was joking with one of my mates who also played with Glenn before the game, and sort of texted him and said, "Oh, how long until Glenn gets his first yellow card for us?" And he said 25 minutes, and he weren't far off. But
Did he get booked?
he got booked right at half time.
God,
Yeah.
I was missing. See stats. I did the stats as well for the yellow cards. I was missing who got booked in the first half, and there you go. Answered it.
It's Glenn Ray. If you're ever
don't
struggling to
understand how
work
happy
out
that
who got
makes me.
booked,
Just chuck Glenn in there.
the chances are it's going to be Glenn. But
Update my
he's
notes page now. The yellow
but
cards.
he's a phenomenal player. So when he was at Brighton, he was a centre back. And over the course of his career, like with Luton and stuff, he's pushed on into midfield a little bit as well. And he is just incredible.
I think that's touching on that. I think that's so key for us to have that sort of seniority player that can sit in the centre of the middle of the park, centre mid, and drop back into centre back if needed as well. Because I think we touched on this on the last podcast. We score a lot of goals. We're scoring goals. Where we've had issues, maybe it's at the back a little bit. So bringing in someone who can play that role, like hold in the middle, and also drop back and like make contributions defensively, I think is a massive improvement.
Yeah, definitely. But also as well, it just the way he talks to players through games. You think if he's playing alongside like Harry in midfield, like Harry's a young boy.
I was literally going to bring this up. Yeah.
And you got someone like Glenn Ray who's not going to be shouting and screaming at you, calling you every name under the sun. He'll talk you through games, and but he leads by example as well. And I say leading by example as well. Welps does the exact same thing. Like, watching him is incredible. Like how he gets through, the amount of running he gets through, you know, and we've got players in this dressing room who do lead by example, and you know we're very close to having that finished article, you know, as a team. And once we start picking up and we start performing how I think we know that we can, we're going to be one of the toughest teams to play in this league, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, it's only upwards from here.
100%. You know, I think we've got so much potential in this dressing room, and you know, you look at some of the players that are coming through from the youth academy as well. You know, it's probably one of the best clubs to be at in Sussex right now, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yep, you heard it here first.
It's the place to be. What do I always say? It's the place to be.
We've said it. Yeah. Right, well, we're on 46 minutes, so we probably start wrapping this up a little bit, but maybe looking forward to. So obviously touched upon not Potter's Bar, sorry, Broadbridge Heath tomorrow, but hashtag on Saturday as well. That's quite an exciting game.
It is for me.
Yeah,
I love hashtag. I say it's for me because I don't know if you know the story of hashtag, but it's very much my sort of my era in terms of growing up. Spencer Owen, who's the owner of hashtag,
Spencer FC.
Absolutely love that man. I've got his autobiography.
Oh really?
I've got it signed. I've adored that man.
Are you going to fanboy? I assume you'll be there on Saturday.
I can't wait. Apparently there's a game going on. I'm just there to meet Spencer Owen again.
I'll be totally honest with you. If I saw him there, I wouldn't know who he was.
I mean, we had this conversation earlier off the podcast, because I'm a little bit similar to you, Jack, but not so much actually. Spencer is. I think it's his brother Seb.
Oh, because he's on golf.
Seb on golf.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Seb on golf, his YouTube channel. I'm a big fan of the stuff he does with the Big Wedge boys. I'm massively into the sort of YouTube culture. So I'm like the Sidemen, Simon and Fred, like their friends, the Big Wedge guys, Seb on golf, and also some of the other golf YouTubers as well. So obviously he goes to. I think he's vice chairman or co-owner or something.
Well, Seb.
Yeah. So I mean, it'd be cool if he's at the game as well for me. But yeah. I mean, I've seen the productions they put on. For those who don't know, they're obviously from their background heavily involved in YouTube, so they do like a video diary. I think it's probably the best way of describing it, of every game they play, or at least most of them. I've been watching them all this season because now we're in the same league as them, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how many media people turn up for our game on Saturday for them, and also seeing what they produce, because I think the level of quality of media they produce just based on their background is quality, so I'm really looking forward to seeing us be involved in that. And there's a game of football on as well.
Big game of football
as well. I think we could have them. I've seen some of their results have been a bit less than impressive from where I think if they're honest with themselves where they want to be as well. So
I mean,
I think we can have them.
From not from an analytical point of view, from a fan's idiot point of view, it's if you just look at the league table, it's two teams that perhaps haven't got as many points as they'd have liked at the start of the season. So I think it's quite a big game on Saturday, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%.
Especially for us, well, that means a pile of pressure on. I think it's a game that we probably need to win. I say need to win as if we're only in early October. There's no need to win, but like I think it's a good game for us to win. Just get a first league win at home.
Yeah, we're still craving that. I think the fans deserve it. We need it just to settle the ship. And
because we've got loads of home games coming up. Obviously we won on Saturday, but that was on penalties. It'd be nice just to get a.
We're at home every Saturday this month now. With the Folkestone draw
every Tuesday as well.
Do you know what though? That's so nice after the start.
It is.
So I mean, for us guys, it was all pre-season away, and then start the season
8
all
games
away,
in a row away.
and it's
draining, isn't it?
It does drain you a bit, and I think the boys have got to be given some credit because the performances that we put on the road as well. We played some really good high intensity stuff, and it was probably only Lewis away in the second half that sort of let us down, but it's very tough to go away a lot. It's a lot of travelling and a lot of distance that you're trying to cover, and especially when a lot of the lads as well have got jobs that they've got to sort of do as well, and you're then adding an extra sort of 2 hours journey to a game.
Off we go to Aveley on a
2
Friday
hours
night.
back. I mean, the Aveley trip was lovely. We got a lovely.
And we got to do it again because
we got a lovely tour through London thanks to the coach driver.
That was Aveley,
wanting to avoid the Dartford bit, and we ended up going through central London, going past the London Eye, Big Ben, and that was an interesting journey.
Brilliant.
And we still outplayed Aveley. So,
Yeah. I'm hoping to go to the hashtag away game.
Do you know what? That Aveley game was so frustrating. It's one of them where we've obviously drawn 3-3 twice this year, Aveley, we come away feeling as though we've dropped points and lost the game, but yet Dartford, we've come away thinking we've gained something. And it felt like a win.
Yeah.
So it's crazy how football is sometimes with that.
I hadn't put the 2 and 2 together that we've drawn 3-3 twice already this season. I mean, obviously, I know I was there both times, but
Analytics.
just it's fun. Away games as well, big clubs. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Stats.
Stats.
God, I love them.
Oh, well, I think that's probably a nice natural stopping point. Thank you so much for coming on, Matt. I really appreciate it. I know, obviously, it was your idea to come on, and I'm really glad.
It's nice, especially for the fans, to sort of know what goes on at clubs and stuff.
Absolutely.
I think it's fair to say
something like that is especially for a club at this level, it is quite new, and there are a lot of clubs now doing a lot more analytical work at this level. So
and I think it's fair to say that like you sort of coming on board might have flown a little bit under the radar for a lot of people. So it's nice to get you sort of out there and people know who you are, and you're not just the person who sets up the huddle camera on match days.
Yeah, I'm the sort of person people are looking at in the dugout going, who is that? Like, what are they doing there? Like,
Matt Bubs looks different.
Sometimes I hold up the board as well for the subs as well. So that's a little secondary
I'm gonna pay
job.
you extra for that.
And it's all right when it's only one sub, but when you're making 3 at a time and you're having to change the number and then you're having to trying to work out what number's coming on, it gets a little bit taxing. But yeah, it's all good.
Well, it's really, really good to chat with you, and we could probably dive so much more into your history, but maybe we'll get you back on again.
Maybe next time.
I think we do want to sort of. We've obviously had Gary on, we've had Jay on. Have we had Lou on yet? I don't think we have we? No, so
Lou, he will be unbelievable.
He'd be golden. Honestly, he'd be golden.
Yeah. And then Chloe, why not get Chloe on as well?
Yeah.
And Matt and Bubsy.
Good luck with Chloe. Good luck with that one.
Get Bubsy on as well, and I feel like I think then at some point we'll probably circle back, because I think we obviously spoke to Gary and Jay quite early on in this, like before the season even started. Back end of last season or before pre-season or
back end of last season?
Yeah, back end. So like maybe it would be good to have them back on again, maybe both at the same time and sort of talk.
I still want a player on. I still want an active.
We need to get some more.
Boxy.
Yeah, we need to get some more players on.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, and we'll circle back and get your thoughts towards the end of the season, how we got on.
Yeah, no, definitely. And next time I'll bring a little bit of stuff and go into a bit of detail. Maybe if we've played a team twice and we're not likely to play them again, then I'll sort of bring the stats that I've got on them and sort of
I love that.
show you how much detail we do go into.
That'd be cool. Yeah, we appreciate that
and stuff. Yeah.
Make that a bit of a bumper length episode. Everyone loves that.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to finish it off by a quick shout out. Actually, I was mentioned off the pod that at the game Saturday that we won, George Vorster come up to me and said, "Oh, am I the guy that does the podcast?" I said, "Yes, I am." And he's like, "Yeah, great, really."
Because you teased this earlier, but you didn't say who it was.
Yeah, so George Vorster, unfortunately, he's picked up a knock, and I don't think Sutton allowed him to play either, which is strange. But he said he's listened to all the podcasts. He listened to the one at Dartford. He also said it was a really fair assessment. And he said that, it was just some really interesting points he was saying about it. It was like the players knew themselves that the Carshalton game, sorry, not Dartford, the Carshalton game wasn't up to standard, especially second half. He said that players actually had like a own meeting about it, and they were saying that this is clearly a pattern, we need to change it, sort of thing. But it was just nice for him to come up to me and mention that he listens to it, mention that he thought it was fair, and sort of, especially for someone that hasn't actually he's on loan, really
new to the club as well.
Exactly. So it's just really nice for him, especially to take that sort of
let's get him on.
Care about. Well, yeah,
get him on
for sure.
There you go, George. You just rocketed to the top of the list.
There you go.
I'm going to be chasing you down at a match day now. Going, come on the pod.
So there we are.
Well, wrap this up. Anything you want to plug, Jack? Nah. I've got a couple of things, but if not,
I've got nothing to plug. I'm not as famous or cool as you. So
I've got a new book coming. No, I'm kidding.
So no. Yes, my autobiography. Sorry, how did I forget?
It's 2 pages long.
Yeah, the life of a non-league fan.
Yeah, boring.
The time I went to Dartford.
So no, just Broadbury Chief tomorrow. Get down. # on Saturday. The only other last thing, a little plug. You may have seen it on socials today. Is the quiz is back. I know it's not really strictly football related, but it's Hillians related. The quiz is back. First one is week Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday nights now, hey?
Yeah, every other Wednesday night with some new host who will be revealed.
Wow.
So yeah, no, come down.
Oh, that's why you're plugging it. Brilliant. Self-promotion. It's for the football club. Brilliant.
And me. No. So yeah, come down and we'll see you all tomorrow at
all the questions are going to be taken off of Christmas crackers.
Yeah.
No, just use ChatGPT to do it.
Brilliant. Well,
Anyway, this is our third attempt at wrapping this podcast up now. Right.
we just stop talking at some point.
All right. Thanks everyone. Take care. Like, subscribe, all those YouTube things. Spencer will teach us next on Saturday.
Brilliant.
Cheers.